Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Rimworld. Um, it's just my second episode for this, so I guess we'll just hop right into it and get started here. So, um, last time I just kind of got an initial base set up here. Um, it's a bit of a defensible spot, and just kind of wanting to eventually relocate down to the southwest over here, which is, I think, a much better defensible position, considering everything needs to filter through this spot here, and technically this spot here if they break through the wall. But in either case, it means I can have a forward defense right here and an emergency defense point here before having to worry about too much. So, one of the things I am currently in the process of doing is finishing training up all of these animals. I ended up with a couple of shock goats near the end of the last episode, so gonna see how well they do, if I want to keep them, if I want to use them for food. We'll see. Other than that, there were a few things I wanted to change just because how many mods I've added. It adds a bunch of new events that can happen, I guess. So I want to go into the options here, and I started off at Cassandra Classic. Custom, basically I've set it to your average, like, and down here in the custom stuff I haven't changed anything except I disabled children. I just don't feel like dealing with that at the moment. Maybe in another series if I do a second series of this. But I wanted to change it from Cassandra Classic because, I don't know, it seems a little bit of testing. Seems like I'm not getting as many difficult events as I should be. So I'm thinking of going over here to Hildegard Heroic, I think is the better choice. So she will send more big threats while causing fewer small threats, or small events. And again, everything would be on default except children are disabled. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we should be getting more raids, I guess, because as it is, like, the first raid was on day 5, second raid day 12. I suppose that wasn't all bad, but I also have gone like an entire 3 quadrums without seeing enemies with Cassandra, and that could just be random, but we'll see. And again, if it gets too difficult, I will tone it back down again. But other than that, I suppose I should just go ahead and get started on this. Now, these aren't actually being harvested because they are sharing a spot with something else, apparently. So I'm gonna have to cut them manually and get them cleared out. So I have no need for this growing zone anymore. And then, what else do we have? We have animal food over here. It's going to take me a few minutes to reorient myself on how I left things. So I have inspired research, but I don't really have the time with two characters to fully um, uh, keep one on research at the time, so that's probably just going to go to waste. But this was a special offer for us to create normal tribal wear, 5 outfits of it, and deliver it for 3 power cells and some Glitter World medicine, which the power cells will be very useful. Um, I know that I could just, build more generators, but um, not having to refuel them is a decent thing to have. So I guess I can speed things up a little bit here while things are going on. If that's ready to excuse me. If things nearby are ready to harvest, I might as well harvest them because I'll make use of them. More food, more medicine. Yep, that one's ready as well. Got some stumps over here that we can chop down. And again, having the animals trained up is a big factor in this. So that is what the characters are mainly going to focus on, because they can do most things. I forget what each step does, but like the guarding allows them to plant, I believe. The next one allows them to chop and or something. Rescue allows them to do even more things, and then of course hauling allows them to haul things to stockpiles and such. Now, the way that these crates work, the animals have no way of interacting with them. It's made so that animals and your mechanical friends cannot interact with them, and it's done that way on purpose. So I will have to have like a small stockpile that will allow animals to carry it to, and then the people will put them in the storage cases as need be. So, from the moment though, how much would I have? About 700. All the animals are asleep at the moment, so I'm not gonna worry about it just yet. But like I said, I do want to move over here where it'd be a little bit more defensible. And just because I know I'm going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and claim all of this. I guess all of this as well, for when I do move down here. And then I'll tidy this area up as I get down here and have free colonists to do so. But also, speaking of free colonists, I guess one of them is currently, I mean, they're not inactive, they're playing chess, but it seems like they are. I want to get a third colonist when I can. Let's unsuspend this. I can't remember why it was suspended, but I remember that I had suspended it. So I want to get a third colonist just to help out with a lot of things, just keep the colony safe, do a few extra hauling things. Looks like I have more shock goats now. Let me see. I've got one more. Okay. But also to make it so I don't have just one person holding down the fort while I go exploring with the other. So I can send, one or two people out and about, depending on what's required, I guess. But the animals are mostly awake. For some reason, Orangey seems to be on an alternate cycle than the rest of them. I don't know why. So let's just chop some of this wood, well, most of this wood, I guess, so I can use it building the next area. And I apologize if me moving around the map is a little twitchy. I can move by putting the mouse next to the edge, but like the left side of the screen I can't really, because that direction is where my second screen is, so it doesn't actually scroll that way. So sometimes I use the arrow keys, which is I don't want to say less accurate, but slightly different. So sometimes I'm using both to move around and take a look at things. As far as wildlife on the map, there really isn't anything too dangerous. I mean, it looks like we've got a pack of swarmlings and a timber wolf. But other than that, most of it seems to be fairly safe now. We no longer have ravenous kitsune that are within striking distance. And then I'll also set this area up as a bit of a choke point. Let me see what I can do with it right now. I don't want it to make it too big, because then I'll have to replace the stone that I'm taking away. And also it looks like some of this might be mud, so I might have to build bridges in order to build on top of it. Okay, so nope, I don't want to select you. I want to haul these things out of the way so that the enemy doesn't have something to hide behind. I might as well mine this little bit out too, just so I have an even up thing here. Then I guess structure, that's what I'm looking for. Just gonna go ahead and start off with something wooden here. Don't need... Oh, what's going on? Quest available. Waste pack dump. I have a special request. Someone has dumped an abundance of toxic waste pack near one of their settlements, and she is unable to safely store them. I also cannot safely store them, so I'm going to refuse. I don't know what this is. You're going to give me a pillar? Okay, decorative pillar. The medicine would be kind of nice, but again, I don't have any way of dealing with toxic waste packs at the moment. So I'm going to disregard that. Going to check my reward preferences again to make sure that I don't get honor. I don't get contribution, which is effectively honor, and result points, which are also kind of like honor. I don't like the honor system because it makes your pawns not want to do work. And with a small settlement like I'm going to have, that's a bit of a detriment. So, gonna put a door right here so that we have a way to walk through. And then I'm gonna build a bit of a Um, I guess this has to be bigger than I thought. So something like that, maybe? And then I want to put a few traps in there. So just something like that. Just for enemies to step on as they come in through there. And then I'll upgrade this later as I get better things. And yeah, as I get better materials to build the wall, I suppose. Because right now it's just wood. And it's on bridges. Eventually I'll get a moisture pump to dry out the land a bit. I did make a stockpile up here for dumping. But that's a bit far away. So I think I'm gonna use this water zone over here and make one here instead. So then I can just copy this, paste it there, and I can just get rid of this. Okay. So, now it's getting to be the start of another day. Animals are going to wake up soon. Let's get rid of all these stumps. Yes, this is a temporary storage that I'm using, so I'm going to expand it a little bit. Just because it seems to be full. And then, as soon as the security gate, if you want to call it that, is done being made, I'm going to start planning out the new building, or the new area over here. Kind of want to square it off a little bit so you don't have all these weird edges, all places for enemies to hide behind if they get this far in. You know, just clear it up a bit. As far as the Mechanator stuff, I don't know if I'm going to do any of that with these current characters, but if I find another character that wants to join that seems like they'd be worthwhile to do so, then I'll do it. But it builds up waste packs, so I don't know if I can handle dealing with that yet. So, a poor travel named Carl is approaching, looking for help. For 94 silver, to pay off a debt. He'll move on after a day. I might do it. I don't know. I'm kind of low on funds as it is. I know that what they ask is based on how many funds that you have. So, I mean, I guess it wouldn't make too much difference. But I think I'm going to keep my money for now. I'm not necessarily playing charitable characters. How about that? We're nice enough to let him through the door rather than through the spikes. Alright, so it looks like that's built. So I'm just gonna build a copy. Or no, I want to mine some of this stuff out first. So it looks like this might be good to shear off. Maybe there. Get rid of this in the middle. Do I want to build up this far? And I suppose I can get rid of this too. It's not really doing anything. Maybe chop in a block here. Get rid of this. Oh, and this as well. So that should make it wow, the day's over already? Okay. But they have stuff to harvest. I see what they're doing now. Okay. They have a crop to worry about as well. So we'll just mine some of this out. Then there's like a plan tool here. So maybe something like this. Down to, well, I guess if I'm going there, I might as well hollow this little bit out too. Alright, so if I go down to about here, here. Do that far. So that means I need to, I want to mine out that little bit. Alright, this is just saying that there's an ancient mech with a thing there, a solar flare. I mean, it does affect me because I have a cooler, but I think the temperature should be good for the duration of the solar flare. Like I mentioned last time, I've got the Celsius mod, which makes the temperature regulation a bit more realistic. So it needs to spread out, and so it takes a little bit more time. But once it reaches a certain temperature, it tends to stay that temperature longer, rather than the vanilla style where it kind of goes away within 5 seconds. So that being said, the opposite is also true for fire. So, you know, if a room heats up quite a bit, then it will stay heated up. This thing I will move eventually. I have a mod that allows me to extract it and replant it. Otherwise, I just chop it down. But let's see, planning. So this will go there. Add those back in. So if it's 49, so I'd want, what, 25? 25. This is the center. Kind of want to mark it out just for planning purposes. Then this one is 34. I think I'd rather it be 33 or 35. I mean, bigger doesn't hurt, so I guess I'm going another, or actually, what about, oh, let's cut out the north side. That's a little bit less to mine. We'll cut out another one there, and we'll plan another row here. That makes it a little better. And the reason for making it odd numbered is a lot of the buildings are either 1 or 3 wide. So as much as I don't necessarily care about, you know, the things being square and looking straight, everything like that, Um, I don't mind it. So again, we're at 35. So 17, 18 is the middle. So I have a bit of a layout here for where I want my buildings to be. And I think I'm just gonna start up in the top left corner and work from there. So first, I guess I need a building. First, I need a building. Of course, I need a building. First, I need a bedroom for the characters. So I want it fairly large. So maybe 7 by 7 on the interior might be good. I will do 7 by 9, I guess. Doesn't have to be square. And then, what else are we gonna need? We're gonna need a kitchen. We're gonna need storage. We're gonna need a recreation room. Probably more rooms for other people. So I guess you don't need too much space for a kitchen. Maybe just 4 squares. Might be a bit long. If I were to do something like that, and then have the back part as food storage, so it can be a small little area, and it can be kept cold easier. Just building with wood now because that's what I have plentiful at the moment. Eventually I'll upgrade to stone or something. So that's that, and then I want a bit of a storage or work area, I guess. So I'll do something like this again. Leave a doorway there. And then I'm gonna have to clear out this mechanical stuff eventually. But I guess the outer wall will be going all the way down here and probably out to this point. Oh, we have a manhunter pack of bed bugs. Okay, so we have a couple of bed bugs coming after us. Yeah. Scaria is a thing that is going to make it so that anything we kill that has Scaria basically has about a 50% chance of not being usable for meat. So where you are currently building a wall. Well, since you're on your way back, I guess we're gonna draft these two up and oops, wrong button. Put them about here maybe, but we'll put them behind cover. And the animals shouldn't bother the other animals. Alright, that doesn't seem to be so bad. And then, as soon as they're able to hit, maybe it's because it's not really a long-range weapon. Alright, there's 2 down. And 1 more. Come on. It's getting close. I'm gonna have to move here shortly. Alright. And none of the meat is useful. Or usable. It's okay. They are bug. It's probably bug meat since they're bed bugs. So maybe not the biggest problem. And then those will be hauled out eventually. In the meantime, we will continue with our base. I suppose I should put on doors as well. Might be worthwhile. You know, for keeping temperature in the freezer, that sort of thing. Okay, so thanks for walking all the way out here to do one little bit. Oh well. So another thing I'm gonna need is stockpile zone. So this is going to be my storage here. This is going to be the freezer here. So currently this is what I want everything to have in it. So I'll just paste those settings there. For the time being, I'm gonna set that at normal so they do not start hauling everything over here, because apparently they've already started. And also, I guess that is going to need to include furniture, bedroll, furniture. So include furniture in that. And then the other one should be for food. So I'll copy the settings from these to this and set this priority low for the time being. Just to be sure, we do not want rotten. Also, we don't want all this other stuff either. Just food. Okay, I guess some other things count as food as well. So that should be good there. And then we want a dumping stockpile probably outside of storage for everything. And let's clear all. We want chunks and corpses. Hello. Sorry it took me so long to notice that you're here. I have a bunch of menus that I'm looking at, so welcome back. Let's see here. So yeah, I want chunks, I want corpses. All corpses here are fine for now. But again, I don't want rotten ones here. Those go outside of the base. And then we'll clear out the mechanoid junk here in a little bit as soon as I need to. But I want to get this other stuff taken care of first. So I'm gonna go ahead and deconstruct this brewery. I'm not gonna need it for a long time, if ever. Probably not gonna need these shelves, at least not all of them. Gonna keep a few of them for now. The passive cooler, I don't need it. What else is there? Table. Gonna deconstruct the table, and I'm going to... Oh, another Manhunter pack. Okay. Somewhere in here, there is a 1x1 table. Let me just set that there for now. What do we got here? Animus foxes. So they're kind of like a fox-like creature. Can be seen as pets, though some wander in the wilderness. So, you know, maybe just like a fox as a pet. But not these for sure, because they have Scaria. So they've turned Manhunter and are coming after me. So I need to draft up again and get over here. Set you over on this other side again. You never know when some creature is going to have some way of spitting or hurling other stuff at you. So here they come. They get through the traps. Then I'll take care of what's left over. Alright, so now I can undraft. Tell someone to finish that off. And then they'll be hauled out over here to decompose safely. Because, as you may also see, they have a bit of a cloud around them. So, I forget what it's called. I think it's lung rot. So, like if you inhale the fumes too much, you get a lung rot disease, which I think is only temporary, but maybe not. I just choose to avoid it as it is. So, just put them over here where they're safe and out of the way. Looks like I reached level 7 in animal. I'm having trouble talking sometimes. Level 7 in animals. And so I'll be able to train them up a little bit faster. Maybe train larger animals or more ferocious animals. Might have something to do with speed of training as well. I still have plenty of wood, so not too worried about running out for this structure quite yet. They just have so many things that they need to do that they're just not getting as much done as they could. Oh, but they do have some wood over here. So that's pretty good. And then, of course, they don't have any real way of building things in the order that they're needed. So, you know, I've only really got one room built, and it's the kitchen. But then, let's see here. So the farms are doing pretty good still. Still have plenty of food for the animals, especially when I see them sneaking into the refrigerator and eating stuff. What else do I have going here? Oh, I have been meaning to spend my points for leveling up. So as I mentioned, as they do things, they gain experience. As you can see, Azami here is gaining experience here and there just by doing whatever they're doing. They are probably constructing, I'm guessing. So I have about 60 points to spend among 6 stats. So I think what I'm going to do is, let's see, is it left shift? I'm just gonna, for now, evenly disperse points. Just get them slightly better at what they do. Just all around. don't believe it gives that much of a benefit. I don't really um, know where it would say. So, I mean, again, if uh, the characters get too powerful, I'll just up the difficulty to make things more even. As it is right now, I think it's okay. Looks like we're getting, if not raids, we're getting manhunter packs more often. So it gives me something to do in between building and getting a base set up. Um, I do need to keep in mind, because I keep forgetting about it, I have 16 days to get this done. And at the moment, I only have 3 of the 5 required. Plus, I need to have the extra travel time to get out there. So I have about 14 days to get things taken care of. Other than that, another thing I did, where is it? Assign. So, since these characters are a race called Kurin, I have currently limited their outfits to their race. So they're not going to put on any outfits that are, vanilla, and then a lot of the vanilla stuff doesn't really fit them, as you may have seen with their clothing choices earlier. So, in addition to that, they're just having a marriage ceremony, I guess. Animals are invited. I guess nobody else is around, so I guess it makes sense. Why wait for somebody to be around when you want the ceremony to happen? So, but yeah, so they're not going to be wearing miscellaneous armor and whatnot that they think is better than what they're currently wearing. So something I will have to do is specifically go into their research tree and research apparel and probably weapons. I'm pretty sure that they can use most standard weapons, since they're using like Uzis or machine guns or whatever they have. They have personal defense weapons, submachine guns. Okay. I think they both have one. Yeah. Because there is a Rabby, I think is what they're called. It's a rabbit race. They're kind of militaristic. I believe that we are not friends with them at the moment. Yeah, they're currently hostile. So the Blackberry clan over here are currently hostile, and one of them fell to the ground and had a few weapons with them. So we took the weapons and equipped ourselves because it was better than the club and bow that we were having. I do have multiple animal-like races here. So over here we have the Brevia faction. They're another fox-like race. They are more bloodthirsty. They make sacrifices to make themselves stronger. They're more kitsune than anything else, I guess, because part of what happens is as they sacrifice creatures, people, things, whatever it is that they need, and get stronger, they get more tails. So eventually they get either 7 or 9 tails. I can't remember which. Um, and they get bonuses alongside that. Over here, we have the United Fox Union and Saragossa, the Foxy Bargainers. This is the town that wants us to make a few things for them. And these two are also Kurin races, so they're much like the characters that I have here. So 3 tails, fox ears, and whatnot. Over here in the middle, we have a rat-like race, or mouse. I'm not certain which they prefer. And they're usually merchants, and they travel around and have useful things for sale. What else do we have here? Down here we have another rabbit-like race. They're more of a feudalistic style, I guess. So they're not going to be seen with guns and high-tech armor. They're mostly going to have swords and bows and things like that. What else do we have? We have the security force over here, which is direct opposite of the Chaser Armada. So they are here to combat a high-level mechanoid force, which I think is this, but I'm not certain. I haven't played around with them too much, so I don't really know. Over here, we've got the Moyo race, which are an aquatic race of some kind. This one over here is also another type. We've got one up here in the northeast and one over here in the northwest. I don't know what the differences are between them. I just know that they're 4 separate factions and they're all different. But they're all of the same similar race. Up here we've got the Yokai Village. They specialize in taming like mythical creatures of some sorts. Like I know that there's kappas, there's kitsune-like creatures, and all sorts of other mythological Japanese or Chinese folkloric creatures. So we'll see a lot of those things around as well. Up here, I believe this is the faction for people that have been turned into animals, I guess. There's a mod that I added called Pondmorpher. And so basically there's this mutagenic rock that falls to the planet every once in a while that has properties that turn people into animals, whether partially or fully. It's variable. So this is their faction. And then of significant other note, what do we have? We've got the P&L Logistics faction over here, which is where the Paniel race comes from. They're kind of a I forget what they call it, but they're basically a cybernetic kind of race. And so we'll probably have dealings with them as well, because they're usually friendly. All right, so what have I missed in the meantime? I've got a Go Frenzy. Oh, we're getting all sorts of things here. All right, so she'll move faster. Okay. So, how are we doing on the building? Oh, they have completed it. Okay. So, at this point, I think I will start moving items over. Sky Shard has appeared. I kind of saw that over here as it came up. Looks like there's going to be 2 quadrums till I have to worry about it disappearing. And then a random drop of equipment. Oh, excuse me. I got a beret and an apron for a race that we don't have. Okay, so I think I'm going to start moving this stockpile over first. Put this up in the corner there. And then I will deconstruct these 3 shelves. And all of that should be moved over as needed. I do want... Is it for... No, it's storage. I want a couple of these crates here. We're going to copy settings from these to these. We're going to set these to be... Well, we'll set this one to be preferred, this one to be important, and this one to be normal. So what that'll do is the ground storage will be what the animals can take stuff to, because that's what they're able to interact with. I also need to expand my home zone to be over here. We'll include this as well for the time being. So what'll happen is the animals will be able to place stuff in the storage, and then the colonists will place it in this one since it's marked important, and anything else will be put in preferred. So it'll fill this storage up first, and then this one, and then anything left over will be put on the ground. So I'll know that they're completely full when I start seeing a bunch of stuff lying on the floor. Again, I'm gonna do the same with the storage, but since I don't need as much storage, or this is a much larger storage, I don't need to do as many of the fiddly bits, so that can be normal, and this one will be whatever it's currently at, preferred. So again, everything will be put on the ground until somebody is able to come along and put it in the box, and it's all indoors so it won't deteriorate. So I'll just let that get started. I want to make sure that it's mostly taken care of before I move on to doing other things, because I don't want to give them too much to do right off the bat. Otherwise, nothing will seem to be getting done at all. So I want to make sure that they get the storage stuff moved over. Let's see, the quest. The Deserter. Alright, so a military commissar is calling from nearby. She has deserted the army of the refugee empire. So the nobility, the empire, the base game thing. And so she's being hunted by a loyalty squad. She wishes to join. She knows the location of key outposts containing everything needed to develop psychic powers. So my characters are psychically deaf, so they can't really make much use of it. But I might except just because I need a third person. But beware, if I accept, I will become the enemy of the Empire. Uh, and the loyalty squad will attack immediately. So one trooper is chasing her. Only accept if I wish to fight against the Empire and develop Psychastros on my own. Um, so normally there's only one Empire faction. So this is usually a much bigger choice. I'm just gonna turn it down to low speed in the background while I'm doing this. So normally there's only one Empire faction, and they're fairly high tech. They use psychic powers. They have high tech weapons. They're usually bio-coded, so you can't make use of them yourself. Their troopers come with acidifiers, so that when they die, they melt all the equipment that they have on them, except their weapons, which they drop to the ground, which are, as I said, bio-coded, so I won't be able to use them. But right now it seems that we have 3 different Empire-like factions. So I don't know. I want a person. I don't know if I want to make enemies of the Empire to do it, though. Might make it so that more people start attacking me, but that shouldn't have an effect on the rate of attacks, just on who is attacking. So I can't see any information of the character. It looks like they are just a baseline human. So there's that to think about. I think I'll leave it for now. As much as I want a third person, if I get a third person and don't like them, then I might imprison them or do something. I don't know. But also I just have no interest in the Psycast at the moment because my characters are psychically deaf. Because I kind of thought that would be interesting for their backstory, their pair of clones. What are you doing? Okay, you are hauling stuff. Right, I turned the speed down. That's what's going on. Okay, so we're up to 4 tribal wear. That's in normal quality, so that's good. Also, I suppose if I'm moving over there, I should stop sowing the fields over here, so that once they're fully grown, I'm not always coming back over here to harvest them from way over here. Okay, so a lot of the food. I don't really have to worry too much because milk is going to spoil 14 days. Chicken meat is what's going to spoil first among anything. And I'm okay with it spoiling because we can't make better meals yet because we are fairly inept at everything. So, yeah. I may have mentioned this in the previous episode, but I can't remember. So, bear with me as I may be mentioning it again. So, to balance out the fact that I gave them so many traits, some of which are, just for, no benefit, like worthless. They aren't worth anything. They actually started with gay, so I kind of left it and figured why not. Teetotaler I gave because I just don't want them going on a drug binge or anything like that. Curran-like they came with because they're Curran. Um, uh, Doctors passing by. So this is one of the races I was talking about earlier. They're more feudalistic, um, swords and shields rather than guns and stuff. So communal. Loves sleeping in barracks. Okay, so she has no problem with sleeping in a room with other people. Uh, she's a dunce, so she learns things half as quickly, and she doesn't have as much social impact, but she's got a nice voice, so she negates 5 of that 50%. She's incapable of nothing, which is really good. She's good at crafting. I might just... Alright, so what is... I mean, if I end up snagging her to join my colony, I don't really... I'm not really worried about what her religion is, because I'll probably just be converting her to mine. That's another thing. I need at least 3 people of my religion in order to start things off and have myself a leader and all those other things. So, I might just see if I can capture her. What does she have for gear? She has a kunai, so throwing knife, and that's about it. So, okay. At the moment, the kitchen really isn't being used for anything. So I think what I'm gonna do, what am I looking for? All these buttons move around depending on how many mods I have. So I'm used to furniture being on the right side. Now it's on the left side, so I keep missing it all the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this up for prisoners. And then if I draft you, can I just try to arrest you? You have a 91%. Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and try this. If I arrest a non-colonist or a colonist from another faction, non-colonist or a colonist from another faction, their entire faction may become your enemy. 91% chance of succeeding. Let me just go to the world here. Is this their faction? Evertheria? There's a faction button somewhere. Okay, so... I don't know what faction they're from. I mean, it obviously said, but let me see if I can find them on the list here. And I'm not seeing it. So, I think I'm just gonna go for it. Oh, I suppose this is their faction here. So, yeah. They're currently neutral. I don't think it will cause enough problem. I mean, it might. But for the moment, I'm gonna try and do this. Just because, like I said, I need a third person. And we're not necessarily nice people. Alright, so They are now hostile. Minus 87. So I will do something about that in the future. Right now, I just need to get set up and, well, maybe they'll send some more people my way. So, speed this up. Actually, make sure I do have wardening, so I will take care of them as need be. Why do you just walk through the mud? Why didn't you just go around? So I am playing on a slightly larger than, like, map is still medium-sized, but it is the slightly larger medium map, so there shouldn't be any pathing problems. Pick that up. Don't leave weapons around for them. Alright, so this is just temporary. Actually, this back area here might make a good actual prison. But for the time being, I'm going to not have interactions because it's just going to take time away from moving all this stuff that needs to be moved. So let me just get all of this hauled urgently. And that sets it so work order. I have Hull Plus set as first priority among a couple other first priorities, but their normal hauling is all the way at the end here, and I have it set at 4. So they don't haul things as a priority normally, because very shortly I'm going to have, you know, these 5 animals able to haul most things instead. Alright, what did we end up with? We got a urine outfit of sorts. What is this? Just a flower? Okay. Sorry, it looked like something else to begin with. Alright, so we're getting stuff moved quickly now. You've been asleep long enough. Go ahead and get stuff done. And I think the 509 steel is going to be one of the heavier things. And animals, I think, can only haul a minor amount. So it's not like they're going to be picking up this entire stack of steel and hauling it in one go. But I could be wrong. Maybe I have a few... Like, I know a few of these animals, like this scarabee here, can haul things much better than others. So, like, if I went out here to the world and started to form a caravan, and let's say I wanted to go down here, it tells you their carrier weight somewhere. So, the main characters here can hold 86, but you have to subtract the weight of what they're wearing and equipping from that to get how much they can carry. So they can carry about 80. Um, the goats cannot carry anything, but we've got like 44 for the maid here, and about 74, 54 for 3 of these guys. But Scaraby and Orangey can carry a whopping 434 because apparently they are like pack bugs, I guess, for lack of a better term. I guess like one is probably based off of an ant. The other one is like a beetle of some sort or something. I can't remember their descriptions. So, but in any case, they are able to haul things, or a lot more things, than most. Still got a little bit of steel to pick up. Okay, see, Skyarby just grabbed a big pile of heavy stuff. So we've got a lot of this. Now, the insect girls came with this ancient potion, which allows for resurrection. I'm probably just going to sell it because I don't want to have that big an advantage right away. I know I should probably keep it for if they die, because they are unique creatures. There's only one of them, and only one will ever show up. So if it dies, it's gone forever. So I will try to keep them alive, but I will also be using them in combat because they do have fairly useful combat skills as well. Alright, looks like most of that has been transported over. So next I'm gonna move over the air conditioner for the cooling unit, and the generator. Now, you may notice that I am able to reinstall the generator. I have a mod that's called Minify Everything. So basically anything that's an object, like say this wall, I can uninstall and reinstall and store in storage if need be. I'm not going to use it that way. I just don't feel like going through the several thousand items and saying, no, I don't want these, yes, I want these. So I'm just gonna leave it as is and use Minify Everything because I like to shuffle things around. The main things that it's going to affect are things like this generator. What's another one? Walls, of course. I'm not going to be using it on the walls, but that's what it could affect. The high-tech research bench, I believe, cannot be moved once it's installed. So I might use it for that if I need to readjust my research room. Otherwise, though, I don't like having to deconstruct an immovable object when in the cases like the research bench, where it is just a table that you could pick up and move. So that's how that's going to be. Another mod I added in just for visual sake is anything that's electric will not have power cords shown going to the power lines. And I also have underground power cables, so they will not show up unless I'm in the power menu. So like this power line right here is not showing up because it is underground. Now it can still be targeted, people can still shoot it, everything like that. It just doesn't have a visual. That's the only thing that it does. And then this still should be set. Yep, it kept its settings. So as soon as the generator's over here. Oh. Colonists have gotten the flu. I'm not too worried about it because they have high immunity and they are immortal, which also gives an immunity buff. But looks like I'm gonna have to move this over soon because they're going all the way over to the left side to grab stuff to cook with. So first I want to prioritize tending just so that it's done sooner, and then right back the other way, tend to them, and then they're just gonna lay there for a minute or two while they rest, I guess. I only see one thing of Z's, but I suppose they're both getting rest. Maybe she isn't. Sleeping, resting. Okay, she isn't. So, right here is where it's shown. So, the flu is progressing at up to a 5.5. Their immunity is already 3 times higher than that. So, I don't have to worry about them getting affected by or dying from the flu. So I'm gonna set bed rest to 5. So they should just carry on. Their immunity is going to outpace the disease. And the reason for that is because I got peerless immunity. Again, I took it not for the resistances, but because I think it's hilarious that because they have such a good immune system, they never learned that you need to cook food properly in order to consume it. So they have an 800% chance of poisoning the food that they cook, because to them it's just food. So while that is perfectly fine for them, it will come into play later when, I'm feeding that food to the prisoner, or I have a couple other colonists here that also eat that food. So, okay. Next, I need to move the kitchen stuff. And yes, I'm going to be cooking in the room that prisoner is in. So we'll worry about that later. Gonna put the bed over there. I can start just moving most of this furniture. We're gonna put the table in here, along with a couple of chairs that go with it. No, I don't want to build a copy. I want to move it. And this way, everyone can make use of the table, and they don't have to go without eating without a table. And it'll be in the prisoner's room, so the prisoner can also make use of it. But it's here because it's right next to the food storage. I might make or I will eventually make a recreation room for them to make use of, and I might just put their dining stuff there. Again, the fire, I know I could dismantle it and rebuild it. I'm just moving it for the sake of it. The chess table, currently I will put in their bedroom, because there's no reason not to. Very shortly, I know, once I have this other person, it might come into play that I don't want them going into the room to play chess, especially if my colonists are sleeping. But we'll deal with that when we have to. Alright, this I'm going to put right outside, because the butcher table is going to be outside. And when I start making animal food, it'll just be hop, skip, and a jump. Medical treatment. Oh, right. Just to be sure, how are they doing? 16 versus 40. And yeah, 17 versus 40. We should be fine. What else needs moved? These things. Yeah, at this point I am just reinstalling everything immediately. And they'll just get to it as they get to it. Let's see. It's hard to tell without it. Oh. Crafting table we will put in here, so it's right next to all the stuff that's needed to craft with. And what else do we need? Okay, can get rid of this because that's no longer being taken care of. I can delete this one. I can delete this. And I could move those if I wanted to, but we got plenty of stones over on the other side too. I've got 2 extra chairs I don't know what to do with yet. I'm going to be making a place to do research, so I might as well just move these. You know what? Just uninstall. Uninstall and put them in storage. I'll find a place for them. And is there anything else that I need to move? I don't think so. This is still being taken care of. I do want to turn this into a home zone, at least for the walls. Because what that'll do is, if they ever take damage, then my people repair them. I could also do the traps inside, but it's not really necessary. What that would do is they would clean up all the blood and stuff. And rebuild the traps if they get taken out. But I feel that's not really needed at the moment. So, yeah. But the downside to making this a home zone is by putting it in, claiming it as my own and putting it in the zone, enemies could decide to attack it instead. Which, again, it's okay. It's only wood. I don't really have much. Trying to get these two on a fairly even schedule. Now, the reason why they're taking so long is you can only install one thing at a time. Another mod I have in is Uh, Prisoners will keep their prison room tidy. So normally what would happen is if anything makes a mess on the floor, then it will stay that way forever until you come to clean it. I have plenty of creatures running around cleaning stuff as it is, but I made it so that prisoners will occasionally, just clean things up a little bit. Just so that they're not living in filth. Okay, I suppose I need to reinstall this as well. And that should be everything. I don't think there's anything left for them to move. Kind of wish they did it a little faster. Okay, you know what? No, not refueling. Prioritize working on it. That's probably what's delaying a lot of them, is the place to cook is up here and the food is down here. So every time they want to cook, when I have it set to keeping a few meals at a time, they're taking all this time to go all the way down here to grab the food and running all the way back. So I don't always like ordering them to do stuff. I'd prefer them taking their own initiative with the orders I've given them, rather than saying, hey, do this right now. I will deconstruct all of these beds and make a new one. Furniture is over here. And sleeping spots, we're just going to put them outside for now. I know I don't have 12 animals, but I'm just going to leave that for when I do get more. Because apparently these goats also sleep. Okay, here. Why are you meditating? You shouldn't have any need for it. Alright, let me check something real quick, because that's... Your psychic sensitivity should be 0. Let me see, psychic... You have a 15% psychic sensitivity. Why is that? Oh, because being a Curran gives you 15% sensitivity. Okay, well, I guess they are minorly psychic then. I did not realize that would happen. What do we got going? The wildlife here. I think we still should have pretty much the same stuff until like this wolf and the swarmlings finish off some of these other creatures. It's probably going to stay the same mostly. Maybe once I start hunting a few of them, it will start changing a bit more. Because I think the lower the animal population, the more likely more animals will show up. No, not research, but I was going for quests. Okay, so still have 11 days for this. And I've got 4 made still. We're slowly getting things moved over. Well, I say slowly. We're almost done. just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to move. Nope. 6. I forgot the horseshoe pin. I'll put this over here. And the Grey Fort dislike me more because I'm living too close to them, which is understandable. Alright, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would, so maybe I'll get them. Okay, they are just doing that. What are you doing? You are also okay, they are hauling things. And I think I'm just gonna ignore this quest. Once I found this person, put them in prison, I'm gonna go ahead and recruit them. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start on that. So they should reduce will, maybe? How does this work? You are converting currently, so 92 to 83. So about 9% each time. They'll probably gain a little back before I have the chance to do it again. So what I'll do is I'll convert them to my religion, and then I will persuade them to join. Once that happens, then I can start doing some ideologian stuff. So, what's next? Alright, as soon as you get that, then I can start. I could just leave this alone, but I want to just go ahead and remove this and obtain the resources that I can get from this. So it looks like it's going to be the wood that I used to build the outer wall. We're going to get a bunch of sandstone, and then I'll deconstruct iron as well, so I'll get some steel, and I think this is a carpet. Over on the left side, it looks like a lot of this is burnt wood, so I probably won't get anything useful out of that. But I'm telling them to remove the roof first, because normally, without mods, what their priority is deconstructing walls and ignoring the roof. So what that ends up doing is collapsing the roof on top of them. So now I can order them to deconstruct all of that. And then we get 2 to 3 bricks per spot. So it takes, I believe, 4 to craft a wall, 4 bricks. So we are losing resources. I mean, I didn't build this wall, but if I did, for all this wooden wall, I'm only getting 2 to 3 back. So I'm losing about 25% of, or 50 to 25 to 50%, I guess, of what I've put into it. And that's just basically so that it keeps your wealth down a little bit, which reminds me I should take a look at. So my total wealth is about 38,000, give or take. Most of that's from items. So half of it is from items. And then a quarter of it is from creatures, because all of those insect girls apparently are worth 1,000 each. 1,000 and change, I guess. And then about 7,000 from building structures that I currently claim. So as the game progresses, the wealth will slowly rise, and there's nothing I can really do about it. I can try to keep it down by, all this stuff on the left side of the screen. I guess this is all of it in storage. Usually this list is a bit longer. So like I can sell off this insect doing jade. Like the jade here is worth like $4 each. So, that's 800 of my wealth right there. So I could get rid of that, sell it off, or give it away to my neighbor that doesn't like me so much because I'm too close to them. So that is a common problem, and the wealth is going to influence the size of raids that happen against me. Other factors is how many colonists there are, and what am I trying to say? Their weapons, how much their weapons are worth. It's not based on how good the weapon is, it's based off of how much the weapon is worth. And then I think there's probably a minor thing for armor if it's high enough tech. Animals have a very small effect on it, so in the game I'm planning on playing, I'm going to have a ton of animals. So that's probably going to have a larger effect on the raid size than it normally would. And then if I build turrets, defense structures, anything that would protect me from invaders would probably count toward the size of the raid. Like, I don't know if these count toward it because they're just traps. But like an auto turret or a flame turret or something would definitely make the raid larger. Once my skills get high enough and I start making better than normal quality beds, I guess. No, something's going on. Contract helpers. The Iron Ratkin need extra hands to help gather the harvest. Asking for one colonist, 13 years or older, for 25 days. No, that's half a year. But you are willing to trade other people, or somebody's willing to join. Well, I certainly can't take them. They're an animal hater, so they will not fit in. Otherwise, they'd be pretty good, except incapable of violence. Also, they are apparently in the process of being turned into an animal of some sort. Probably a cat. Looks like. Yeah, feline. So they're turning from a fox into a cat. Otherwise, it'd be goodwill, which is always good. Some high tier item that I have no idea what's used for. A gene pack for giving people bat noses, and nitroamine, which is uncraftable. So I cannot do this because I cannot take one of my colonists away for 25 days. Another Manhunter pack. What do we got this time? Calico Gamers? Okay. Now, I noticed this one isn't chasing after me, or coming after me. These say that they are manhunters. This one says it's not. And the reason for that is because of the immortal mod. So there is a low chance that when an animal or humanoid is created, it has, I believe, like a 10% chance of being immortal. And they can only be lesser immortals at most. So it's not like I'm going to be running into higher level immortals, because I've found that just makes problems. Like bug problems, not balance problems. Balance problems would be just fine. But, so, what this lesser immortal has basically done is it has cured it of its scaria. However, being, I shouldn't do that yet, but being that it is immortal, and if you are unfamiliar with the Highlander immortal rules, basically if you behead another immortal, you obtain their powers. So in this case, I would gain a little bit of immortality added onto my own lesser immortal. So there are various tiers. So an animal will basically just give you progress towards the next immortal level. But a humanoid that is immortal, they will have a chance, I think it's like a 10% chance, of transferring their skills. What are they called? Their passions. Their passions for the skills over to the person that has beheaded them. So, as I mentioned earlier, that's the reason why I do not have any passions, is because we're clones, and I felt that a standard 4 in every skill was okay, because eventually I will find other immortals that I can then gain their passions from, and probably, I don't know if you gain skill experience from them though, but definitely passions. So eventually I will have double passion in most, if not all, my skills. So we're gonna take care of this Manhunter pack first, and then I'm gonna tell one of them to go out and hunt this other animal. So you two draft up and get over here. It's another thing I'm gonna have to keep in mind is I am much further back, so I will have to give a little bit more time. Are they both right there? They are both right there. Okay. Let's slow this down a little bit. And they shouldn't bother other... Okay, well, that didn't take much. I guess they're small little animals. They wouldn't have as much health as normal. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna draft you up and go up here. Looks like there is a rotting doe up here, which is understandable. There's a wolf up here as well. It's probably, yeah, a little bruised. Nothing that'll seriously wound it. I'm just gonna do a quick unforbid everything, because animals kill other animals occasionally, and it's good to just come pick it up. Now, where are you? Oh, we're still on slow speed. Sorry. We'll speed it up. But I'm going to slow it down here in a moment. Okay. So now, I'm gonna make sure that this is the one I want. Okay. Gonna go ahead and do this. And then I should, if I finish it off, I don't know if that's counts or not. I will haul it back. Now, what'll happen is I'm going to take it back, and it's going to go right here in the pile with this other one. And then one of my colonists is going to use the butcher table to butcher the creature. And since it's immortal, whichever colonist ends up butchering the creature will get that portion of immortality. So we'll just speed this back up again. What are you doing? You're butchering. You both went out to gather stuff because I allowed that deer, or the elk, whichever it is. So it looks like Akane might be the person getting... Nope. Nope, this one's the immortal. Looks like you will be the one that does it. Alright, so there won't be any outward anything that lets you know that they've gotten it, but they will progress a little bit along the path, unless, you know, one of these other creatures gets too close and gets it instead. But it looks like the lightning was following Azami, so she is the one that ended up with the immortality boost. So I think like 5 or 6 more animals will boost her up to the next bit, and she will get more bonuses from being an immortal. So right now, what it's doing is reducing their pain threshold by 25%, so they can basically take 25% more damage before they fall over in pain and are unable to fight. Pain threshold is both good and bad. If you have a 100% resistance to pain, then you will continue fighting until you're out of health. So at that point, it can be a bad thing. So we still only have 4 tribal wear and 8 days left on that. How's your certainty? Down to 79%, so we're still lowering that. Oh, right. There's this floor that I forgot that I told you guys to remove. I was wondering what you guys were doing instead of, other things. I guess at this point I'm just gonna leave it as is. I could remove all of this, but maybe I'll do that when I have more colonists. Because right now we're finishing up the farm and moving everything over here. So all these rocks I also want hauled. And these rocks. And then, how much wood do we still have? We still have 800 and change. So let's go ahead and just put a wooden floor in this entire place. The animals are moving all these chunks over to storage. As I mentioned before, I've got a mod that allows you to stack these chunks, because otherwise you can only have one in each spot. And I really like having a compact space, I guess. So we'll be... Oh, I thought you were still asleep. I was like, how did you get construction? Okay, so here's something that has happened. And this is entirely because of mods. There's a bit of an incompatibility between whatever makes this mod start, or makes this quest start, and whatever variable it has chosen. So as this is, it is unacceptable. I know it's a charity quest, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not worried about doing charity quests, is because I did see this in one of my testing. Some quests are just going to be broken. That's all there is to it. That's how mods work, because you have several dozen, if not more, people each making mods that need to be checked with basically every other mod that it could possibly go along with. And that's just never going to happen 100% completely. So anytime there's a large amount of mods, which I have in this, I have somewhere around 300 mods in this. It's gonna happen. That's all I have to say, I guess. A lot of the basic stuff should still work, and it may be that that's what's affecting the kind of raids that I'm getting. But I also do not have the ability to find out what the problem is, if there is a problem. I can just put them in, play it, and go from there. Now, I am going to want to chop down these trees eventually, so I should probably make my home area a little bit larger, at least encompassing the area that I want. And since it's small at the moment, I'll just go ahead and make it so that they can put this fire out as well. And then shrink it back down to that. Alright. So, a lot of their stuff is still going to be, even though all the animals are tamed, there is still a little bit of a drop off. Like animals will slowly become wild again. So occasionally we'll still need to tame them, but all of these creatures also have, like Spellbee has what's equivalent of wool progress. So Spellbee produces ambrosia, very small quantities of it. I get 50 insect jade from Spiky. I get hair from the maid. And then I think this is all insect dew. And oh, that's a goat. So milk from the goats. Milk from the Nuko. And insect dew from all the others. So, that's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 10 times that we'll have to be doing all of that. So a portion of their time will still have to be done doing that. Otherwise, they will continue constructing. Again, I would like them on the same sleep schedule somewhat evenly without having to tell them that, hey, this is the time for sleep. So I'm just going to wake them up there, and they should keep about the same. If not, I'll adjust it again later. But that way, when they're both asleep, I can fast forward on 3 times speed rather than on 2. And I think I checked this already. Still have 4 tribal wear. So hopefully once they're done making the floors, one of them will work on that, and I can build a research bench, which I think is in the hospital. So again, as you notice, this is only 1 tile big, and that is because I like my space. I don't want like half of this structure to be, for storage and research and eventually cooking, because the best place to cook at is something that's 5 by 2, and that's gigantic, much larger than it needs to be. All right, here's a raid. They're attacking immediately. Who are you? You are tribal. So you've got axe, tribal, carrying money. You abilities. Oh, it's a psychic ability. Okay. I thought that was incapable of. I just saw the hand with a knife. Thought, well, there's an ability for you. But it looks like you are not good at many things. So you do have a 9 health, so you will have a bit more health than others. Looks like the wolf is slowly going through these deer up here. So with that though, I need to draft these 2 up and set them out here. Don't have to worry too much because he's got an axe. Of course, if he decides to sometimes they do that, not always. We're just gonna have to come out and rescue. I guess we'll go up to here. That way we don't hit our pet with bullets. He sure is taking a bit. Now you were just hit. So yeah, it's all hatchet and stuff like that. I'm not actually hitting them, but their health leveled up, and he's taken care of. Alright. So, still on draft. Actually, now on draft. Spiky is bleeding out in 16 hours, but there's plenty of time. Just gonna set this to doctor care. Actually gonna set all animals to just doctor care, because we just don't have the medicine yet. So they should come over here and lie down, and as soon as they do, we should go over and tend to them. Boyo, Orphanage Master, and Itikin. Alright, so an Orphanage Master named Gwendy is calling from nearby. She's being chased by Itikin. She begs for safety and offers to join. If you accept, you'll have to fight off the Itikin 3 drifters. She's too frantic to give you more information, so I can't actually click on her to see how good or bad she is. So, again, I want another character. At the moment, you know, this person is in the process of being transferred over to my religion. So I think I'm going to accept, because I can always tell them to go away later. And so shortly they should join. So here they are. They have a knife and an SMG. They're wearing a police uniform and a parka. She has some food with her, so that's good. We're acquaintances, I guess. Our opinions of her are -5. Her opinions of us are 0. But she knows of... Oh, that's our prisoner. Okay. So, she is too smart. So she learns things 75% faster, but she will have a higher chance of mentally breaking. But she will lose her skills slower. She is kind, so her certainty loss, I don't know what that is. But she's agreeable and giving. She rarely insults others, so she won't get into fights. She never judges people by their appearance. Also makes her more likely to conform to prevailing... Oh, okay, so the global certainty loss means that you can convert her twice as fast. She's incapable of nothing, which is really good. I do not like it when characters are incapable of stuff, but that's part of the game. She is not very good in a fight at the moment, which is okay. We've got fighters, but she's really good with animals. She's really good at cooking. She probably will need to be, because she's not going to like our cooking. She's fairly happy. Oh, she transhumanist modern? But she's not a transhumanist. Oh, is that her belief? Yeah, transhuman to humanist. Okay. So she's got 5 health levels, so she's a little bit tougher than your average person. And she's got an artificial tibia. So movement is reduced to 92% because of it. We're going to lower that down to no medicine, but doctor tending is fine. And I'll set some other stuff up as she walks over here. Currently, where am I? I'm in the wrong spot. Okay. So Spiky is still on their way over. You are playing chess. I want you to prioritize tending to Spiky while we're here, because we're going to need to get in another fight real quick. Okay, so Spiky here is apparently a mega spider, whereas this one is a spelopede, and Scarabee is a mega scarab. So each of these are based off of one of the Rimworld bugs. So a lot of this should be fine. I mean, it says death in 18 hours, but we are tending to them right now. And every time it seems like we're patching up one of these cuts, that goes up by 3 hours. And just their natural healing is bringing it down. As soon as I have the... Yeah, I know quality is 0. But it's not the quality that's really mattering at this point. It's more of stopping the bleeding and getting better at medical. So over here in the work tab, definitely want them to firefight and be a patient. Don't really want them to be a doctor if they aren't really good at it. There's no children, so we don't need childcare. Basics, and I'm just gonna kind of... I don't need you to butcher. No brewing. Could eventually have you hunt. That's fine. You are good with plants, so we can put that up to 3. Don't have a crop at the moment, but that's okay. Repairing. I'm gonna put repair down to a 3. Deconstruct can be at a 2. Construct at a 3 still. You're not good at mining, so I won't have you do that. That cutting is good. We don't need art yet. Hauling and cleaning will be taken care of by the others. Another researcher is always good. Okay. That should be fairly good. Now, where is she? She is already inside, and she is constructing. She's also wearing tattered apparel. Well, that's your own fault for putting it on. You know, what I will probably do is we'll make another one of these, a new outfit, and just for simplicity, call it Moyo. Clear everything, and just allow you to wear Moyo apparel. Now there's, again, probably... Oh, that's a slave outfit. Okay. Probably not that. Well, tactical gear, though. Why isn't that being... Oh, because it's, no? I'll allow that as well. So, we'll just set that to Moyo. Food restriction, I'm fine with being at lavish, because we can't make anything but common food anyway. Right, storage. I thought I said furniture was okay to put in here. But now I have said it. Alright, now we can speed things up a little bit. What are you doing? Ah, you're still tending to you. You're almost done. Okay, once you're done, you can get your food and go back to sleep. Oh, and you're sleeping on the floor of the prison room. Okay. Again, my colonists have no problem with basically butchering any kind of meat. So, I mean, that being said, you probably do. Yep, you do, because you're not part of our religion yet. And there we go. Prisoner has gotten food poisoning from the food we made. Alright, so let's just go ahead, do something like that, divide it in half, we'll put a door there, and we'll turn this bottom area eventually into another room. In the meantime, we'll put a little sleeping spot there. You can have that sleeping spot. You don't have to sleep on the floor. However, you should come to this side before you get... Okay, I guess you can still climb over all the wreckage. Have you progressed with the tribalware yet? No. I suppose because I keep giving you things to build. Oh, right, I did build a research bench. So, one of the first things I'd like to research is modern furniture, because it gives a whole bunch of comfortable things and a few entertainment items. So I'm gonna set that first. Everything is frozen because I'm guessing, oh, it's just a visitor. Okay, so we are getting a visitor. He might have things to trade, he might not. But I do know that we're getting a raid at some point. Something I may not have shown off yet is this. We have kind of a different way of researching. They will gather items that pertain to the research. So, like, way down here, any material that can be used for crafting stuff within this, they will research, and it will give, in this example, they're studying silver, so they will get 25 research points towards the entire research at an increased rate because they have something to study. So at the beginning, they can study, in this case, a lot of things that are used for crafting, um, up to 200 points worth. So they can study 8 things from that. And then in this category, it's a lot of, if I have something like this packed away, or if they have a research kit, I believe is what it's called, they can then go through any of these items that I may already have and research them to get kind of a sidelong, just a production experience, gathering experience from products with an already known production progress. So they can study things that are already crafted that are similar. And then they can reverse engineer. So if I already have something, they can use that research kit to reverse engineer stuff for more research. And finally, they can prototype stuff. So once I get far enough in the research, I can start crafting some of this stuff, and it will provide the experience faster. And what usually ends up happening is they will construct something. It will be low quality, so probably poor or awful, maybe normal. I don't know if what the limitation is. But they will also be at like 10% of their health, so they will need to be repaired once it's crafted. And that will unlock probably halfway through. But if none of these options are available, then their default is their basic research. So it's a little bit like getting an experience boost. Alright, so you're the visitor. You've got nothing to trade. You're just here for nothing. Learning Frenzy. She'll gain experience in a skill as twice normal rate for the next 8 days. Well, that's good, because your normal gaining rate is 1/3 of normal. So now she's gaining experience at 2/3 the normal rate. These goats, I think I'm going to get rid of. They're not really doing anything for me. I mean, they are providing milk, but I mean, I have 146 milk at the moment. I don't really have a use for it yet. Now, what is on the floor? Oh, right. You've got food poisoning. Where is... Okay, apparently they are done with the tribalware. Okay. So, before this quest expires in 6 days, I need to take that and probably any other items I want to trade out with me into the world, specifically to here, which has a basic travel time of 8/10 of a day. But we'll probably... Wait, who has the... Akane has the learning frenzy. Okay, we're gonna send Azami instead. So we're gonna send Azami. We're gonna send Spelby because she is bonded with that animal. And we're gonna send this one, I guess. Because I want to keep the two pack ones together. And I don't need all that much pack space this time. At least I don't think I do. We'll find out. So I don't want to take any food because it'll spoil on the way. Cloth. I suppose I can take a couple hundred with me. Plain leather. Now, because of the way the research works, I do want to keep a hold of one of each type of item, at least for the time being, because that will provide a research material. So I don't really have use for leathers at the moment, so I'm gonna go ahead and sell those. The jade I'm gonna sell because I will get a constant supply. I don't need the hops because I'm not going to be brewing anytime soon. I'm going to sell the potion. The seed will take a bedroll to sleep in. So I'm not selling that. I'm just taking it with me for increased sleep time. Or reduced bed rest. How about that? Then all of this stuff, I believe I can sell. And part of what I'll be selecting is the tribal wear to complete the quest. Yeah. So we're gonna grab all of that. I thought there would be some food, some rations made, but apparently not. So just gonna grab 50 rice. That'll be enough for 3 days. Plenty of food. And we will actually take some hay. Nope, that... Oh. We'll take 20 hay for the animals. They can forage as well on the way. So that should be good. And then... Oh, right, because I just did damage to it. Okay, so now Azami will be gathering up stuff. And then she will load up Spellbee. She'll gather some more stuff. And load up the other animal. Wherever it may be. And then they head out. Now, they're heading west, so they probably have to go all the way over here to exit. Hello. Flesh beast. Alright. Gonna have to be careful about that thing. It eats things whole. So when it gets hungry, it'll just swallow something. There's a Cerberus. Okay. So now they've gone out to the world. They're this yellow dot right here. And it seems like they're traveling a long way, but I do have a small world. So this is much smaller compared to your standard Rimworld. Don't need to worry about that. This quest. Okay, so this is one of the first end-game quests. So what this is you earn ranks among the nobility, and eventually they once you have a high enough title, they will ask you to host somebody for a certain amount of time, and then they will take you off world via ship, which is technically the objective of the game. Your objective is to leave this planet because it's not a good planet to live on. I don't know what my end objective is going to be. I haven't really thought that far through because I figured the game might not be stable enough for me to get to that point. But it might just be stable enough. So I'll have to think about it. I'm not going to go with the royalty stuff because, again, my characters are psychically deaf, and it's every time they get another rank, they decide, oh, they don't want to do this type of work anymore. So I'm probably not going to do it. They're getting pretty tired. So here's another mod I've added, is the Almost There mod. So if they're within 4 hours of reaching their destination, they will try to reach the destination no matter what. Otherwise, they normally go to sleep at 2200 hours or 10 p.m. and then wake up at 6 in the morning. But it also gives a bit more control. So I can say I go for the standard 4 hours away, almost there. I can rest because it looks like they're getting low on sleep. That's one of the mods I've added, is you can see their sleep bar, their food bar, and their sanity. I forget what it's called. Their mood bar, I guess. Their needs. So, so I can rest, which is your standard rest. You forage for food, and your visibility goes down so you don't have to worry about being ambushed as much. But then I can also say never rest for those times that they're traveling during the time that they would normally be forced to rest. And then I can force sleep, which is better for sleep, which I should have clicked on first rather than rest. So this will, this is different from rest. Rest allows them to forage for food and things like that. For sleep, they just go to sleep and their rest meter increases that much faster, or at the normal rate that it would. A little bit of a drawback to this, of course, is that I then have to click on the buttons to stop them from doing it. But I think it's pretty good now. They are... Okay, so here's an example. They're away, they're more than 4 hours away from their destination, and it's nighttime, which they're normally supposed to sleep. So at this point, I would click on Never Rest, and they will not rest until they are exhausted. Now we've got a strange drop pod. Air roars with the unmistakable sound of a drop pod during re-entry. Scanners detect life signs inside, but they are really weird life signs, as if the scanner couldn't tell whether it is animal or plant life. So, we got this weird drop pod here, and it's active for 3 days. It's generating a terraforming life form. So it's going really quick, and eventually that will make a creature. If I recall, it's not a good creature. It is technically a manhunter. So we'll let that happen a little bit and see what it spawns. So it's right over here. It is almost done already. So let's just slow down and see what happens. Okay, so it makes a cactipine, and it is a maddened manhunter. But they... Does it have Scaria? No, it doesn't. So... It's an insect, but also, if I were to make it so that they couldn't get to me, then I suppose it's possible that their manhunting come to an end. Oh, but they don't sleep, so it won't come to an end. Never mind. So what's going to happen is they're going to come and try and get me. Let's see how they do with the spikes. All right. So it seems like the spikes will be able to take care of them. And we've arrived at our destination. Okay, so first we're going to fulfill the trade offer. We're going to give them 5 tribalware of normal or better quality. I think we've only made normal at best. And we've completed the quest. So now we have everything that they offered. So if I go to trade here now, you can see we've got the Vatometric power cells and the 3 glitter world medicine that they offered. So now they're not willing to buy a lot of the stuff that we brought with us, but they will buy a few things. So I'm going to sell them all my cloth, all of my leather, basically I'm selling them everything that they'll buy that I don't want to keep myself. So I'm keeping the medicine, the bedroll, and the food that I'm eating. And then let's see what they have for sale. Like, I could get a large fox that is a mount, but it might increase my speed a little bit. I don't know if I want it just for that. Are they a pack animal as well? Yes, they are. So I could get them for being a pack animal. Their carrying capacity is 120. So that's not bad. 627. But I don't think I need one at the moment. Otherwise, chem fuel will be useful eventually. Neutroamine for later game medicine and stuff. I think I'll probably end up getting some components. 2 advanced components for sure. Because I believe I need 2 advanced components for something. I don't know what off the top of my head. But then we'll get some synth thread, devil strand, just one of each for research purposes. And then what else? Sky steel is something. I think I'm gonna need 20 plasteel for something later. A celestial steel, I don't know what it is, but it's expensive, and we can probably research it. A repair kit for repairing mechanoids. I don't need that. I don't need mechanoids. They're kind of spendy. We can call in support if we need to. I don't think I'm going to go with that. Bionics. I don't need quite yet. But weapons, they only have an EMP and a smoke version. So I think I won't be getting any weapons this trip. Outfits, I already have some. Doesn't really look like there's much of anything. Should probably get 11 gold, 1 for research and 10 for possibly something I might build. Then we have artwork down here and other structures. Military crate. I could get to prevent things from catching fire. I have a Giga television, which is way too expensive. I also have to keep in mind anything that I buy is going to increase my wealth. So kind of want to keep that as low as possible. But it looks like they just don't have that great of a selection to begin with, or for now. Maybe next time they will have something better. So I'm gonna just grab 10 components, accept, and then since the security force is right up here, I'm just gonna go over here and see if they want to buy anything. So we'll set the almost there again. Some of these other things, like the construct and cancel construction, is I have a mod added that allows me to go out and build roads once I've done the proper research. So what that'll do is allow me to build a road from my home here out to the road, so it doesn't take as long for me to get to the road. And then I can upgrade the road as I get the skill too. And then we will basically, we send supplies out and we just build a road. And that's what I'll use extra colonists for. Or in the case where I get temporary colonists and they can't leave, the temporary colonists can help with the normal everyday stuff. And most of my main people will go out and build the road. So that is something I'm looking forward to as well, because then I can build a road out to the desert to visit these guys. I know they're an enemy at the moment, but I'll change that eventually. Then I can build like a direct route out to the rats over here, or to this road over here, so I can visit them. And eventually I'll be able to make better roads than this gray one that's traveling most of the way around. Okay, so it looks like a cactipine made it. What was that noise? Alright. Maybe I should have been paying a little bit more attention. Where are you at? Okay, so you're just hauling stuff. Oh, and we made it. Okay, so these guys are gonna buy a lot of the stuff that the other guys didn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell all of these weapons I've acquired. I don't believe I need to keep any of them. And they sell for, next to nothing. Armor sells for a little bit more, clothing sells for more. Here's the 9 reject tribal wear. that didn't quite make the cut for the quest. Um, Alright, why do we have that? I guess the other person didn't want to wear it, but I'm going to keep it anyway. Alright, so that's another 1450 that we'll get. So we have about 3100 to play around with for buying stuff. So what do these guys have now? Again, the different assortment of meat and food, chem fuel, components. Nothing really standing out yet. There's some things like this and this that are mods or from mods, I guess. I don't really know what they do. They might be good, they might be bad. But I'm just not going to worry about it right now. Memory stick. Memory stick will now send a message and you can choose some compensation. I don't know what that is. Polaris have these other things which basically sets some of your backstories. So if you wanted to have a rice cake maker as one of your memories, then you could grab that and install that. Or you could be a medicine student, but they're pretty expensive and you don't get many. They have a trade caller, so I could call an orbital trader if need be. They also have trait releasers, so I need to come back here fairly often and see what they have for sale, because I can give somebody the trait cat person. So what it is, it's a one use to get a specific trait. They choose to get the recorded trait or remove a trait from them. By removing a trait, the mechanites will record it and replace the pre-existing trait. However, this feature is only feasible 3 times. So you can, from my understanding, is you can either give a person this trait once, or you can remove a trait that they currently have and replace it with the cat person 3 times. So if you get something good and you have a bad trait, then you can use this to do that. So technically it would be a good buy to get both of these just to have more traits. And it tells you what it is. So it's mad for all things feline. They will naturally gravitate toward bonding with cats. However, they're not a fan of dogs. So, and it conflicts with the dog person. There's a memory stick. Okay, so I think what these are, the memory sticks give a full set of like armor, weapon, shield, stuff like that. I think it's a little overpowered. I'm probably not going to get it. And the quality is what quality of items you're going to get. So this one would give you an excellent quality set of armor, excellent weapon, excellent shield, everything. And I think it should be worth probably 10 times what it's being sold for. But I don't make the rules for the mods. So we've got some tech prints here. Again, I'm not really worried about that yet. I could get them to just reduce my wealth, but again, I'm not worried about that yet either. And some Mutaserum, which is from Pond Morpher, allows me to basically inject somebody with feline or rodent DNA. What else do we have? Some bionics. And weapons. I'm mostly interested in the weapons because my weapons aren't that great right now. But I also don't want overpowered stuff, but they don't really look like they have a great selection either. At least not of my tech standing. I don't want to get into all of this really good stuff yet. I kind of want to work my way to it. So like, you know, here's a current power armor helmet, which would be wonderful, but I don't think I want that yet. A telescope, however, I will buy. So yeah. Now, having done that, we can work our way back home. I'm gonna just go through the mountains and go to this other current settlement. Excuse me. And see what they have for trade. And then I'll probably stop at the Mouse's faction as well on the way. Right. There's this thing to deal with. I'm gonna have to draft up. And we'll take care of this. Okay, so now Azami is inspired with cooking. She'll cook twice as fast, which reminds me that I have enough people. I should increase this up to at least 4. Oh. Apparently that cactpine was immortal. So Akane got a bit of immortality from that. Again, not enough to notice anything. But another cactpine didn't quite make it through the traps. And also, something happened out here. There must have been a flash storm while I was in the overworld. Wanderer joins Spellby. Well, okay, so this is an event that would normally happen and will continue to happen. It's a one-time event. If I didn't already have this one, then this bug girl would wander in to the world and join, basically. It's like a pet wandering in and self-taming. Again, it's a unique event. It should only happen once, but it will probably happen once for each insect girl. But it doesn't check to see if I've already got that insect. Alright, so you have almost been converted. Now we got cargo pods. What'd they drop? Just a steel club. Oh, there's another one. A steel club and an insect jade club. Great. I mean, I know I didn't want advanced weaponry, but, you know, I could have used a gun. Something better than this, this PDW. I guess it's normal quality, so it's not that bad. But I'd prefer something more accurate. Oh, you're going up. What did you just take? Oh, this thing makes insect jelly. Interesting. And makes those things too. Run away. Is this one immortal? No. Oh, but you were standing out here for some reason. Alright. Looks like I'm gonna have to come save you. Let's go through here quickly. Let the Luco get the door for you. Oh, the door's already closed. And you've probably just let it through. Okay. I mean, that was expected. That's why I'm coming up here. To save you. Now run this way, please. So you don't get shot. Also do circles, so... Okay. Feel free to go back to what you're doing. How are you doing, by the way? Not good. You got bit quite a bit. So doctor care. Once you get back home, we'll patch you up. Oh, hello. Another one made it in. Oh, no. It's not another one. You're just an immortal one that got back up, I guess. Eventually we'll hit you. Alright, so it looks like we've arrived at the other place. I don't have anything left to sell. So it's just whatever they have for sale. Again, I don't know if I want another animal. You know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll get one just for travel purposes. Maybe it'll allow me to travel faster. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna get rid of it, probably. Alright, so again, through a lot of the normal stuff. Abyss Steel. We'll grab one of that. 20 of that. And Architect component is way out of our league. Side trainers we don't want. Alright, here we are. Here's some weapons. Pranker. It's a modern and ergonomic stun pistol. Tranquilizers. If it's not too large. Or we have the sidekick, assault rifle. A winger. Sniper rifle. If it wasn't... You know what? I'm going to grab 2 of them. Because why not? We'll grab an assault rifle. No, not 6. Just wanted 1. That's within our remote field research kit. I think this is what I was talking about earlier. Contains the tools to perform research in the field, where a researcher does not have access to full-size research bench. Expansion module contains Connecting. We'll get one of those and test it out, see how it works. So that gives us a little less than 100 left. There really isn't much left I can buy for that amount. So we will accept and head home. And we will give somebody that does research. We'll give that to them. And we're immediately taking care of this immortal cacti. But it seems like another one made it through. Ah. Right. And to start taking care of you. Now again, this shouldn't, since it's a manhunter, it shouldn't bother us until we leave. So I don't really have to worry about your health once I have you bandaged up. Blood loss moderate already, though. But that's to be expected because I had another cacti to deal with. And once I'm done bandaging all these up, or at least done with the bleeding parts. Actually, the other person's back, so I think this will be fine. And that one did not make it. Alright, so back up a little bit. Hopefully you're fast enough to shoot it. Or, not fast enough to shoot it, but fast enough to keep away from it. That was a nice one. That one was horrible. Did you just get back up? No, finish it off. Okay. And now chunks of spacecraft have fallen. Almost on our heads. We'll mark that for being finished off. How much time is left? 2 days. That's only been 1 day. Wow. Didn't quite make it through. Okay, so eventually we will get a hospital built up, but I don't really have everything I need for it. So we will install these things. Suppose there's a third one around somewhere, but I don't know where. That's what's taking so long. We are asleep. Okay. So we will speed things up a little bit. Now, you've got an infection in the torso. Well, the bad thing about that is you can't amputate a torso. So we're going to approve the medicine that you'll get and prioritize tending to you right away. Quality 41, not bad. That's the wrong person. So now it should progress faster. Yeah. As long as we keep up on it. Alright. So you're butchering our 200 pieces of plant meat. Interesting. Alright, so that lightning strike was me taking care of another immortal cactipine. These are apparently more likely to be immortal for some reason. And it's out of sight, out of mind. Okay. So take care of it. There you go. And as soon as allowed to speed up, we will. This is funny. The maid is just following it for some reason. Okay, it just happened to be traveling in the same direction. Thought it was just being like a cat and just following a little bug thing that it sees on the ground, just carefully. And I don't know, just seemed a little funny to me. Okay, so they've taken care of quite a few that have been immortal. So as you can see here now, Akane here has upgraded their status from lesser immortal to immortal, and that carries various benefits along with it. The primary one that it shows is their pain threshold is now multiplied by 50%, so they now need 50% more damage before they fall to pain. And they will obtain pain from various sources less. So, like if they get, like normally scars and stuff cause pain every once in a while, that would also be reduced, except for the other benefit of being at a higher tier than lesser immortal. Once you become immortal, you start being able to regenerate limbs up to a certain health amount. So, what's this? Okay, so Saijo has now changed their ideology to ours. Now, since they are our religion, we can try to recruit them. So The resistance is 9, will of 17. I can't remember which affects what. I suppose it tells me right here. So how much they're determined not to submit. Okay, so will is if I wanted to enslave them. Resistance is if I want to recruit them. So the resistance is 9. Once we'll start lowering their resistance and trying to recruit them. I don't know if it needs to get to 0 before we can recruit them, but we're well on our way to it. So, immortality. It affects low hit point limbs, so I believe that any limb with 10 or fewer hit points will be regenerated. So that's inclusive of all the small body parts at the moment. So that would be fingers, toes, and stuff like that. Arms and legs are much bigger. They have more health, and so cannot be regenerated until a higher level immortality. And that's one of the big things about immortality is being able to regenerate limbs. So eventually, that also includes organs as well. So if any organs have 10 or fewer hit points, then they can be regenerated as well. Only one can regenerate at a time. So, and it does take quite a while for it to regenerate, like several days. However, if their their health level increases, that's going to increase the hit points of every single body part. So once that starts hitting 1 or 2 or 3, those 10 hit point limbs might become 11 hit points and then no longer can be regenerated by immortality. So it's a double-edged sword. How are we doing on this cactipine? 21 hours. Okay, so once this is done and over with, I think I'll be calling it for the night. Throat's starting to get a little sore. So, and we've made a bit of progress. You know, we've moved our base into a more defensible position. We've set everything back up again. We have another one of these to install, which, since I'm doing that, I should now run a power line throughout my base. I know I don't need to run this much, but I think it's worthwhile. As things connect to the closest power line, and those connections will still be invisible, but it will then let everything share one network. Sounds like we got another cactipine coming in. Okay, so, I mean, I guess overall, we aren't getting as many immortal ones as I thought we were. We're getting quite a bit of plant meat from them, though. That's pretty good. I kind of like that this happened. Although this is becoming quite the mess out here. And then once this is done, I'll be taking a break. Um, Again, it seems like the mods are fairly stable. So I will be continuing this next week. Again on Tuesday. So look forward to that. Looks like we have something to install right here. Give me a second. I'll just put a telescope up. So next week, Tuesday, we're coming back to Rimworld. Tomorrow, we are nearing the end of Vampire Survivors. So I am going to just go ahead and jump into the DLC of Vampire Survivors because I did not want to really look it up and see how to get things I'm missing. So I'm just gonna not bother with it right away and jump straight into the DLC. I don't know how much there is of the DLC, so it could just be one session, it could be two. It doesn't look like there's much. It added one more map and a couple other characters and weapons, it looks like. So 3 hours might be enough to finish it off. If not, then I'll finish it off the next week. How are we doing up here? Oh yeah, can't forget about this big guy. 6 hours. Is that how much time it takes to make another one? Could be. As we watch this one come in, it makes it through the gauntlet. And then once it gets to us, I suppose we will take care of it. Unless we're inside. So it looks like every 3 hours. So it just spawned one. That's going to be coming our way. Oh, look at all the all the pets scatter. All right, finish off that one. All right, that one didn't make it through and was poisoned enough that, or it failed its toxicability roll, whatever, toxification. All right, so what's going to happen to this thing once the next thing spawns? Okay, so there wasn't another one. It left one slag. That's insect jelly it's been doing. And it's made heat-resistant ambrosia. It's been genetically modified to withstand low terrain fertility. Okay, so interesting. I probably won't harvest it, but we'll see. That does remind me, though, this storage is probably storing ambrosia, which I don't want it to, and I want these storage to store it. Because not so much that it's that I want it, more of that it will decay and disappear if I don't refrigerate it. But anyway, let me just slow this down here. That should be it for tonight. I'm gonna just say I'm doing pretty good. I realize that my characters are a little bit stronger. I admit that. Um, but part of it is also trying to survive with only one or two of them. What I'm gonna do with the rest of the colony, I haven't decided yet. Um, and we'll just gonna go from there. So I guess, like I said, next week it's gonna be back because it seems to be stable. But other than that, I think I'm gonna call it here and just say goodnight, y'all. See you next time.